evening, brothers and sisters. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be talking with you this evening. I guess this is what you call dressed down for me. I guess I'm dressed down today. Something like that. Anyway, had a very short day. We've been working on a project. Have been working on a project for much of that time. We're still in for a great show today. Very happy to be here. And on the show today, Dr. Khalid meets Albert B. Cleage, Reverend Albert B. Cleage. Dr. Khalid with the media. So it's going to be a very, very great time for us. And we'll get closer to why Dr. Khalid was killed, how much of a threat he was. We'll get very, very close to that. So we got a very strong message tonight, and I want to talk to you. Got a chance to see Tarka's show again. I'm gonna always post this show. I don't take it seriously. I think it's a great show. That's it gets the people excited, and I think that's good. I think the show can be used. I think the show can be used to uplift black people. And I think humor is one of those ways that it can be used to uplift people. I think humor is one of those ways. And we have to be informative as well. And we've got to be building. Anytime we talk or put out information, we got to be building. We can't be tearing down. We can't be tearing down. So we come tonight to get closer to laying the foundation and putting out information as to why we have to stand. We don't have a choice. We have to stand. We don't have a choice. So you and I today are working on standing for the people, for black people, for black people. That's what we're working to do today. And if we're not working to stand for black people, then we're on the wrong side, brothers and sisters. Because this fight that we're in, peace, Brother Bruce, peace, Sister Jane, assalamu alaikum. Glad to have you here. We've been talking about our purpose and the reason why we're here. This reason that we're here, this site that we're on, is to educate people. We have to educate people. And we educate them against deterrence as well. We have to. You and I have no choice, because I want you to know that the federal government has people out there from every walk of life. Brothers and sisters, it's the truth. We don't have a choice but to talk about it. And I post, if you do know, in case you don't know, you can go to my YouTube, my Facebook site. I will post everything that Brother Tarka has on my site. I have no problem doing it. And I encourage you to do the same. To post it on my site. The present show, or the show that he had last night, I didn't get a chance to get it because I think he has me blocked from even doing that now. So I can't even post his show on my site now. He has me blocked. But I encourage anyone to do it for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't have anything to hide. That's the first thing. I don't have anything to hide. And I think when you are standing out for justice, you shouldn't have anything to hide. I don't think you should have anything to hide. And proof of which, if you're standing in front of the people deserves a certain amount of anonymity. This is what the people deserve. Now, not a twisted form of anonymity, but a respectful form of anonymity. They deserve that. They deserve empathy, and all of these things is going to build up the black community. Brothers and sisters, this you can believe. If we began to run show that's geared and guided by every lie that's ever come out, we'll never get anywhere. We'll never be able to put in the work that God has us putting in. We'll never be able to do it. Peace, brother. Glad to have you here. And so we have to stand and do the work of God. We have to do his work. I appreciate that, Sister B. She says, brother, stay focused and don't worry about what folks think about you. I intend to. I have nothing to hide. And he hasn't said anything that's true concerning me. So it would be foolish for me to allow him to stop me. It would be foolish. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, all of those out there. We could use it. We certainly can use it to make this show relevant. But tonight, I do want to say we have to be concerned about ignorance. I think that's safe to say. I think that's safe to say that we have to be concerned about ignorance. Anytime we get someone who has a different agenda, and I want to let you know everything that's going on. I think, as a matter of fact, I'm glad he showed the stuff last night. I'm glad. Because I've been telling you what kind of situation I'm in. I've been transparent the entire time. The entire time I've been transparent. And the government, the United States government, because I stand, and because they can't force me to do any evil, right? Because I won't shut up. Because if I shut up, I can get anything I want. But what does it, profit? And this is true. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his own soul? That is the truest statement that I've ever heard in my life. It's a very true statement. And I'm not willing to trade my soul, which that's the message he was trying to send. I'm not willing to trade my soul. I'm not willing to do whatever it would take to do, or rather get any kind of advances from the government. He's doing that with other people that are attacking black people. I'm not going to do that. The government has enough revolutionaries, brothers and sisters, turn about, running amok, and turncoats. The government has enough. It has too many. And I refuse to do anything like that. I refuse to do that. But I'm glad the information came out. God always has a ram in the bush, isn't that right? So I'm glad the information came out. I'm proud of that. Because it needs to be out, and because the sister and I are standing, and because we speak against the evil that is happening in the world, because I'm boisterous about every evil I see done by dirty, trashy white folks that I know that are cracker racists. And I'm going to speak out against it, and they know it. It caused me all the hell that they could give me every day. And when the sister says that we're literally eating hand to mouth every day, that's a fact, brothers and sisters. And you know that she has to be a powerful and strong sister to stand beside. I believe any sister without any real fabric would have run a long time ago. So I've been a single father before. So I'm sure that any sister that didn't have the desire to fight for freedom, justice, and equality would have ran a long, long time ago. And so I'm in this fight for real. As you can see, I didn't bring it up, but he did on his show. You can see the mess that I'm in. You can see it. You can literally see the mess that I'm in. And they won't even give me my taxes, brothers and sisters. They won't even give it to me. I could be out of this tomorrow if the government would do the right thing and give me my taxes. But they won't do it. Because they know they can't buy me out, and they know I'm not going to sell out or buy in. Not going to do it. But still tell the truth. I don't care how many loans it cost me or how many tax returns I missed, right? I'm still going to tell the truth. It'll never stop me from telling the truth. They won't do it. I won't do it. Can't stop me from doing God's will. You know, we can't be afraid of the white man. Can't be afraid of the black hands that the white man is using. We can't do it, brothers and sisters. Literally can't do it. We can't be thrown by every wind and doctrine. We can't do that. But we got to stay strong, right? We got to stay strong. Now, this brother has a will and desire to be the next Malcolm X. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. He said, I'm going to be the next Malcolm X. I mean, it tells you how sick he is, how comfortable he is doing evil. He'll contact me right after. Don't even believe he's done anything wrong. That should tell you that. It should tell you that you know, he deflects because something's wrong with it. Something's wrong. Now, I don't like to stoop, and I'm not stupid. I'm really explaining what's going on. Because I have to talk about it at least. I need to make it current and talk with you to let you know what's going on. That there are people from his own show, brothers and sisters. I kid you not. I kid you not, that have put his information out. I mean, they're coming from his own show, saying how abusive he is with women. I mean, they've given me the entire jacket, but I'm not going to display that on this show. I'm not going to do it. I wouldn't dedicate an entire show with his face up here, talking about some stuff that's not going to matter, it's not going to get us any kind of resolution as it relates to black people. I wouldn't do it. But you can find information, it's out there, if you want. You can find it. And so, to prove to you, I've never done this, but I want you to know, people are asking, you know, they say, well, show receipts. The first thing they'll say, show receipts. I won't put a picture on this page, but I will show you where to find the information. I'll do that. I think I owe that to you. I think I owe that one thing to you. I mean, after all, he's put so much information of me up, and it's never been anything criminal. Never been. He has yet to prove anything he's ever said. He has yet to prove it. He can't even prove what he's saying. But he spent time putting all this information up. I told you all that I was in a bad financial situation. I don't mind saying that. It was me. I told you that. I told you that I'm in that situation. I'm in the situation because I fight for the people. That's why I'm in this situation. If I didn't fight for the people, I wouldn't be in this situation. The situation would change drastically if I wasn't fighting for the people. But the fact of the matter is that I am fighting for the people, and so I'm catching hell. I'm catching hell. So when I tell you that I'm trying to sell a book, that I'm trying to sell a candy bar, or that we're asking that you keep supporting us with Cash App, it's the truth. The only thing he told you is what I've been telling you before, right? And the government's doing it. I know who's behind him. It's a government man. Because he can't even be that bright to bring that kind of stuff up. Can't do it. But it's easy to bring it up. But I'm just saying he can't be that bright. But one of his own people, I didn't do it. One of his own people had given me the jacket of his past, which has changed over the drastic 6 years. Now, I want to say this. What, and I'm just going to ask this question, then we're going to go on to the show, because our show is too important to be interrupted, but I still got to keep you updated. It would be wrong for me not to update you, right? I mean, I got to have some fight. Every sheep got hooves, right? Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? So, I'm still a sheep, right? I'm still a sheep. I just got fangs and claws, right? I've evolved. I got fangs and claws. So I want to tell you that one of his people, this just to prove it to you, one of his people gave me the case number. This came from his people, somebody in his camp. Came from somebody in his camp, so I didn't do it. I want you to understand that. But because you're on this show, I just want to show you so that the people will know. So that they'll know. I'm not going to show any pictures, and I still stand by that. I'm not going to do that. That's foolish, it's stupid, and it's putting this information out there. I wouldn't do that. But they did show me where to find the information. And I think I'll give you the information so that you can go and see that the brother is not in error, that we have a criminal in front of us and a pedophile that have damaged children to Harker Bay. And this is sad because he himself has a son and his wife. I won't tell who told me, but it came from his people, and I'm going to prove it, sister, brothers. I'm going to prove it. It came from his people, not from me. But there was one talk show host that did a story on it. I didn't know anything about it. They sent me that too, because they said they're getting tired of him. This is his people saying that they're getting tired of him attacking real revolutionaries. And they had questions when it came to me. Any other rest of them, they didn't get too concerned about it. But when it came to me, they had questions. So his people gave me information, and I'm going to give it to you so you'll know. You'll have it. You'll know the jacket to find it in and everything. I'm not going to show you the picture, but I don't think it'd be wrong for me to give you the show where it's being pointed out, and also give you the number of the docket. And this came again from his people, where to find it and all of that. I didn't do it. They did it. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the information of the jacket there. The first thing I'm going to do is put that here. And after that, we're going to get on with our show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, brothers and sisters. Please subscribe. Don't forget to like and thumbs up, please. So I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put this down here. I haven't said anything about his white brother. I would never do that. The only thing I said is that it's a shame for someone to be convicted of that, and he has a child. But and I'm speaking general, but I wouldn't dare touch the sister. I don't believe in that as a Muslim. I would never do that. I'm not disrespectful. I'm just saying the validity of what he's doing and how impatient they're getting with him. The brother has literally beat women with bats. I mean, assault charges that you wouldn't believe. And I'm going to give you information so you can find it. So you won't think that the brother is just muckraking. Because I'm not muckraking, and I'm not running amok. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't hoodwink you, and I wouldn't lead you astray. I wouldn't do that. I don't believe in it. But I was given this information. I was given this information. And I'm giving the information to you now. So you'll have it. So you know that the brother is not in error. I'm not in error. And I feel that if you're going to put something out, at least put it out so that people will have the information. And that's correct. They gave me the information about that show. I didn't know anything about it. But they gave me the information. Now, Here this brother with this kind of past has no conscience. Has no conscience at all. Not a one. No conscience. And he's standing before the people as if he's a judge. That's what he does. Okay? So, and I said that to say this, that you'd have to be an insane person on many levels, brothers and sisters. On many levels to do something like that. To take a chance when you know you're a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I don't have anything against anyone that's made a mistake in their life. I don't have anything against them. Me, myself, I don't. I'm no criminal. I've never been. Never will be. I don't believe in it. Just me personally, I don't believe in that. But if I did, if I was going to, I mean, he has been a criminal toward this activity since he was 18 years old, all the way up to about 6 years. About 6 years. And the feds made an agreement with him, and I'm giving you this, I'm giving you the entire docket, so you'll have it. The entire docket, so you'll have it. Because there are some people that want to do a show on it. And I'm going to go, I won't do it on this show, because that's not what we're about. But I will go on their show and talk about it. They want to talk about it, and I'll talk about it. And I'll put the link in this, in our comment section, our show, so that you'll be able to see that. So you'll join us if you want. So you'll be able to join us if you want to join us. But how can you live this kind of life? How can you live this kind of life? And then request of people that they show you receipts. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, there are children in danger from these kinds of people. And, you know, and I want to say this, and then we're going to go on with the show. If we can't protect our own children, right? Because if we got children in our community, and we can't protect our own children, brothers and sisters, we're no better than the person that is committing these evil. We're no better. And my desire and my prayer is that there can be some protection. At least if I can't protect the children, I can protect the people. So they'll know exactly what's going on. So that they'll know what's going on. So I'm going to do the show when the individual makes the show, and I'll post the date. I'm going to do that show because I got some other information too. The brother is thinking about making a book. He's saying that he's the next Malcolm X. I mean, he's totally deluded. And this is what he texts me in the phone. While his people were sending the same thing, you know, they can find that information if they want, sending me the very same stuff. I mean, it's a reflection of how they feel about him. It's the same people cheering him on every day. The very same people cheering him on every day. Very same thing. And he has no respect, none whatsoever, for black women. I mean, rated from that time, the 90s, all the way to the last 5, almost 6 years. Battered women with objects to such a degree that it's shameful to even admit. But yet you want to come before people as if you're doing the right thing, or that you have a conscience. We got to stop that, brothers and sisters. We got to stop that. So that's enough said about that. You know about Sarnetta and his show. I didn't know anything about it. You guys are telling me stuff that I didn't know. I never knew. Never knew. So anyway, that's enough of that. But we've got to be bigger. We got to be better than that. We got to have a mission and a goal, because they're killing us. And I'll say it over and over again, that they're killing us. They're killing you and I every day. Killing our children every day. They're killing us. So we've got to be better. We got to have a better purpose. We got to stand up. So with that being said, our show now is where Dr. Khalid meets Reverend Albert B. Cleage. Dr. Khalid meets Reverend Albert B. Cleage. And this is a very interesting show, because I want to talk to you about Albert Cleage. Because I don't think a lot of people really know who Albert Cleage is. I don't think a lot of people really know. Albert Cleage was a friend to Minister Malcolm. He was from Detroit. Not actually from Detroit, but he was living in Detroit, grew up in Detroit, and Cleage was a black Christian nationalist. A black Christian nationalist. So, at first, they had the thought that the only black nationalists were Muslims. And this wasn't true. This wasn't true. Albert Cleage was building a movement. As a black nationalist Christian, he also ran for political office. And that's something I want to put in here so that you'll have it. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. Cleage was a black nationalist Christian minister. He made a church or a temple called the Shrine of the Black Madonna. I'm going to explain that too. We're going to explain it. We're going to compare it with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's idea of Mas Miriam. Cleage was a Christian minister. He was a political candidate, newspaper publisher. He had all these things. Everything that the Nation of Islam had, Albert Cleage had. He was a political organizer. He was an author. He founded the prominent Shrine of the Black Madonna, as we talked about before. He also had the Shrine Culture Center. Now, if you go, and he also has a bookstore. If you go to Detroit, Michigan, you go to Atlanta, Georgia, you go to Houston, Texas, and also South Carolina. If you go to those places, you'll see the Shrine of the Black Madonna. You'll see the Culture Center, Shrine Culture Center. You'll see a bookstore attached to it. So on his religious institution for black nationalism, and remember I said a black nationalist Christian minister, so that made him a black nationalist Christian freedom fighter. And that's important to say. Black nationalism, black Christian nationalism, black Muslim nationalism, black nationalism, right? Because all of them were black nationalists. These may have been the institutions of religion, but the overall front, the overall united mechanism was black nationalism. It's important for us to know. So I'll keep saying that in respect to the teaching today, this about black nationalism. And so all the locations today that he created are still open, still functioning. And Cleage, once he had gotten established, he changed his name, brothers and sisters, to Jaramogi Alabi, I believe. It was Jaramogi Abibi, excuse me, Agiman. So Jaramogi Abibi Agiman. And he did this in the early 70s. This was a change. The revolution that was happening, 65 was a revolutionary year. It was revolutionary. Things changed from civil rights to human rights. So we as revolutionaries, as black nationalists, we fight in human rights. That's what you and I are fighting in today. We're fighting in human rights. We're not concerned about civil rights because we've already been down that road and we know it doesn't work. We're concerned about human rights. And in human rights, you got civil rights, you got religion, and everything else that you could use. So by fighting for human rights and having a black nationalist army, you will get more that you need than fighting with civil rights. And I want you to understand that Albert Cleage was never a civil rights leader. He was always a Christian human rights leader. He was a black nationalist Christian. So he played an important role in the civil rights movement, right? In Detroit, the 1960s and 1970s, but he himself was not a civil rights leader. He was a human rights leader, a black nationalist Christian minister. And he became involved with black nationalism and black separatism from 65, also during the 70s. He was rejecting many of the principles of racial integration. Matter of fact, all of them. He rejected it. He founded a church, on farm, another institution of black nationalism that he established through the Black Christian Nationalist Church, right? Shrine of the Black Madonna. And we're going to go over and talk about that, what his idea was with the Shrine of the Black Madonna. In Beulah Land, in Calhoun Falls, this is South Carolina, he spent most of his last years. He was the father of Pearl Cleage. If you remember her, Pearl Cleage was this great writer and activist. She was really, and she's still alive. She did playwrights. A lot of people may not know this. She was an African American playwright, one of the few. She was during her time. She was essayist. She wrote essays about conscious issues. A novelist, poet, and political activist. She's still alive today, and she's will be about 73 years old today. She was born December 7th, 1948. So she will be about 73 years old today. She is in, at this point, between Atlanta and Texas, I believe, if I make no mistake. But all of the father's estate, majority of it, is handled by her. 1997 and 1998, she was a part of Oprah Winfrey's book club during that time. She wrote this book, What Looks Like Crazy on an Ordinary Day. This was a powerful book. We're going to talk about those things in a minute, but because all of that leaned on her father, all of it had everything to do with her dad and his focus on black nationalism. She was very influenced by her father, as she should have been. But when you get to Albert Cleage, who's talking about black separatism, and he applied this to Christian ethics, which had never been done before. The Shrine of the Black Madonna is one of the most interesting churches that you would visit. It's almost like walking into a Muslim temple times 10. The organization that they had there, when I visited, was a strong organization, but it was also Afrocentric. Very, very Afrocentric. So extremely Afrocentric. And so that's a very, very good thing. It was a great experience for me. But when you think of the Shrine of the Black Madonna and you get a chance to look at it, you're talking about Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church. And this is very important because normally with the Christian church, white nationalism is associated. You see a white Jesus, right? In the Bibles, they have pictures of white Jesus, right? If you get that kind of Bible, they got black Bibles that's produced through the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Most of the black texts, black Bibles that you can get will come from the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Most of the black texts. You may have other independent writers, but most of the black texts come from the Shrine of the Black Madonna. So in Detroit, which was the very first one, I want you to understand this. Look at the comparison of this. Detroit also yielded the first mosque under the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I want you to understand that. Very first mosque under the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, where he received a message from Master Fard Muhammad, came right out of Temple Number 1, right? I believe which is in the Young building now, but it's in Detroit. It's in the Coleman Young building now, but it's in Detroit. And this is very, very important to know that this spirit of revolution, this spirit of independence, spirit of do for self, was not only in the Muslim temple there in Detroit, right, where was the hall of it and where the start was, but it was also inside of the Christian temple there. So the Shrine of the Black Madonna is the first notable Pan-African Orthodox Church, Orthodox Christian Church. Now, don't forget that Adam Clayton Powell, Senator Adam Clayton Powell, also had the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in New York called Abyssinia. Abyssinia was Ethiopian Orthodox. It was also built on Pan-Africanism, Pan-African Orthodox Christianity. But the most effective beyond a doubt, Pan-African Christian Orthodox Church was Shrine of the Black Madonna, or is the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Albert Cleage had the understanding of the issue and the problem. Albert Cleage advocated separatism because he understood where we are. He understood how we got here, who we are, who we were before we got here, right? What the invaders did to us when they got here, and how we welcomed them before they were able to do to us, right? The thing that caused us to be in the situation today. Not only that, but he said, here's our way out, and here's what we're going to do once we get out, right? That we would have a land for ourselves, land of our own here in America, that we would have the same thing over in Africa. Now, here's the thing. We would have to take over in both places. Albert Cleage is very honest and open that this is going to have to happen. Another thing that Cleage does, and this is very important because a lot of people don't get a chance to see it. Another thing that Cleage does, Cleage, he lets us know, beyond a doubt, he lets us know that we're going to have to fight to take over this area, that they're not going to give it to us. He lets us know that we're going to have to fight. And this is very powerful, brothers and sisters, because when you see revolutionaries today, very few are saying that we have to fight. Very few are saying that, but we'll have to. We won't get it if we don't fight for it. We won't get it. We won't get it. And I just want you to understand that when you talk about the Shrine of the Black Madonna, it's the Christian side of the Muslim temple with the same idea straight down the middle. Albert Cleage is one-on-one with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I want to be truthful, I want to be factual when I tell you this. Right? Everything I say is going to be truthful and factual. But I want to tell you this because this is very important. You have Christian nationalists out there like you have Muslim nationalists, or you have black nationalists from the Christian and the Muslim church. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was united with Albert Cleage. He never tried to stop what he was doing because he had an ally in the fight. Isn't that right? He had eyes on the ground. Minister Malcolm got a chance to meet Albert Cleage through his Hajj, so to speak, with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, through his religious walk, if it's better to say, through the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm saying that because I want to tell you that Muhammad has always been the key. Elijah Muhammad has always been the key. His message to the black man has always been the key to independence for us and everything else. That's why all roads must lead to Detroit when we organize to do what we're doing. Is that right, brothers and sisters? And God and Allah has blessed us. God has blessed us today to have the internet so that we're able to fulfill that mission. God has done that. God has blessed us to do that. So we've been blessed. We've been blessed, brothers and sisters, where we're able to do it, and many of us do not even have to leave our homes. So I look forward to going back to Detroit and seeing Temple number 1 of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and being able to inhale and see historically and physically and spiritually and religiously this ideology, this idea that was given to us by the gods through our brother, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our father, and Moses, in this trek to come out of this plantation and the plantation mind that we've been in, brothers and sisters, much too long. And so, at the same time, I intend to see the shrine of the Black Madonna. I intend to see it just as much. Because at the shrine of the Black Madonna is the same edifice that we have to be independent. We'll have to fight. We have no choice. We have no choice. We'll have to fight. We've got to fight. And we got to stand. Right? I read to you something earlier in the 14th chapter of Isaiah, the 14th verse. And it's a very, when you look at it, look at the verse, the chapter. It's a very strong chapter that's written. It's very, very strong. And it's strong because for us, we've been dubbed down. You and I have been dubbed down from nationalism, from strength, been literally dubbed down from it. Our tooth, so to speak, our fangs as lions have been literally pulled when it comes to standing up. Literally pulled. Our fangs have been pulled. All because you and I have been brought in a land as slaves and taught to be docile. Taught to be docile, brothers and sisters. We weren't docile in the beginning, but this is what we were taught. But in the days of Moses, in the days of Aaron, in the days of Joshua, in the days of Nahum, in the days of Jehoshaphat, Josiah, we had strength and we listened to our God. Is that right or wrong? And God had told us, right, in those days that we would have to fight. We don't have a choice. We don't have an alternative, that we will literally have to fight to come out of the situation that we're in. When Moses and the others are on their way to Canaan, when they were on their way to Canaan, they were going there, right, and had to keep in mind as they were going there that they had to fight to take over this land. They literally had to fight to take it over. Now, when they first went into the land, and this is where a lot of us are today, when they first went into the land, they didn't want to fight when they first went in. They were afraid, and they said, Moses asked them, said, what's going on in that land? They said, well, he said, there are giants in the land. Moses asked, can we take it? They said, no. Right now, and that was symbolic for us. I want you to understand that our history is in the book, right? It's in the holy book, in the Bible, whatever you want to call it, the Quran, whatever it is for you. This is our history. It's not something written about some other people. It's something written about us. Written about us as a people. Who we were, where we came from, where God will have us to get back. This was about us. It was literally about us. And so you have to understand that God, if we turn to him, because that's the whole reason we have a Bible, the whole reason we have the Quran, is to read how God has come to save the oppressed. It's the whole reason. And I'm setting the foundation here, brothers and sisters. Setting the foundation here. Then we're going to talk about Albert Cleage. Albert Cleage digs into this foundational truth, and lets us know in no uncertain terms that we'd have to have, you and I, a good understanding of the Bible, what it was talking about, why it was written, who wrote it, right? When he talked about St. Paul, he talked about St. Paul as a traitor or someone who betrayed the black Jews, because all the Jews were black. I want you to understand that. When the Greeks came in, it was the same as it is today. The white people came in, sat with you, fed them dinner, right? They came in, sat with you, and you fed them dinner. The minute that you fed them dinner, right? Then a few weeks they turned on you. I said a few weeks. But they impregnated the women first, right? Right? And then they turned on you. This is why the scripture said, don't marry any foreign people. Isn't that what he told Solomon? He told Solomon, he said, don't marry any foreign people, because they don't know your ways, they don't know your laws, and they don't have your God. And if you see brothers and sisters today that hadn't been raised in the faith, whether it be Christian or Muslim, or whether it be whatever the religion is, you'll see that they think different from you. They could be black brothers and sisters. But on a grand scale, black people have a fear on a grand scale most of the time. Black people have a fear of disappointing God or working against God or mistreating their fellow man. They have that fear. And the Spirit of God has to be down in you somewhere in order for you to have that fear. It has to be down in you. Right? And you'll find that when you have the fear of God, right? Then it said that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Right? So Albert Cleage is reading this document, this Bible, and he's learning it because he was raised to learn it, right? Not fearing the white man, but standing up, having an institution that was going to be built for people in oppression. That's what the church is about. It should be about. Why you don't even have enough people going to church today. They may go to the mosque, but you don't have a lot of people going to church because most of the Christian preachers in the churches are sellouts. Might as well say it. You might as well say it. Most of them are sold out or bought in. Isn't that right? Sold you out or bought in to the system that is oppressing you. This is a fact. So when Cleage sees this knowledge as a revolutionary force, and he studied the history to prove that these are black people that the word of God is talking about. These are black prophets that God is sending out to talk to heathen people, to tell them about the majesty of God, the righteousness of God, and God's holy deliverance and God's holy forgiveness for those who would repent. Isn't that right? But the word was given out and it came back void. The word was given to them, but it came back void. If you come to us, it don't come back void. Because the Spirit of God is in you and our black man and black woman. You just don't know it yet. You don't know it. That's the reason why we attack one another. We don't know it. Spirit of God is in us. And when it's in you to such a degree, it will literally depress you to attack anyone. If you have the Spirit of God in you to that extent. There's a lot of people pretending to have the Spirit of God, but there's no way you can have the Spirit of God by attacking your brother or sister. There's no way. You can explain it. You can debate. Right? You could talk. You could reason. But to attack is a different thing. But we've learned this inside of this plantation. We've learned it on the plantation, and we've learned it inside of this country. This corporation called America. Because that's what you and I are in. You have to understand that. We're in a corporation. Corporation that has enslaved us, called America. That's this corporation that we're in. And brothers and sisters, Albert Cleage has this understanding. So in the Old Testament, he sees the prophets. He understands what they're there for. He is no stranger to the Nation of Islam, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's no stranger to Detroit Muslim temples. He's no stranger to the streets in Detroit and bringing people in and talking to them and explaining. He's no stranger to that. But when you know the truth, it's almost like the sun when it's shining real strong, right? You ever seen the sun at high noon? 2 times when the sun can hurt your eyes, it's at high noon, and the other time it can hurt your eyes and when you're first waking up. And if somebody snatch the curtains back, right, and you see it, your hands go up. You want to block some of that light from getting inside of your eye. But you have to have the light to hit the eye to come inside of the body. Isn't that right? So that you'll be able to see. It has to hit the eye and come inside the body because it releases vitamin D. Vitamin D sort of wake up everything in you. It's the melanin that it activates and it wakes you up. Literally wakes up everything within you so that you'll be able to operate. Brothers and sisters that are conscious know about sunbathing. Isn't that right? They know about sunbathing. So when we sunbathe, right, we're getting the vitamin D and nutrients that we're used to from our mother country, right? Because this is not our home. America is not our home. We're just pilgrims, right, through this barren land. Isn't that what the old church songs, the old Negro spirituals say? It said, I am weak, Lord. Thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Right? Right? It said, we are sojourn, children to this barren land. Right? So this is not our home. America is not our home. It'll never be our home. Our desire is to get back to Africa. This is what the old slave songs were saying. Right? Not that Africa. Right? But this Africa that we're in. This used to be Africa, brothers and sisters. This used to be Africa. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But your knowledge has been taken away. Your attachments to this land have been wiped out. Your memory, right, of your forefathers building this great land when they came over from Africa to build it and left from this land to build South America, which was considered the third Africa. Isn't that right? Right? That's been wiped away. Your knowledge has been wiped away. Right? So while the knowledge has been wiped away, now we sit here searching, right? Because we had ancestors to come over from Africa, that's right. But some came way ahead, way before Columbus came. We're talking some 40 or 50,000 years when the 10th or 11th voyage was leaving Africa, coming over here to establish it, which was the Native African American, right? Because that's where the Native man get his name from. This is where the holy countenance come from. Isn't that right? So when the Indians talk about the white buffalo, the great sky chief, isn't that right? These are African terms. Come on, brothers and sisters. When you see the Native American and the South African, right, especially the Zulus, in their native dress are wearing the same thing the very same way, just in different parts of the continent. And I said that to say this. Albert Cleage had full rounded knowledge of religion, and he could understand, he had understanding where he could put these things out, literally put these things out, put this understanding out, so the brothers and sisters would literally know what is going on. So that they know what is going on. So brothers and sisters, when he took this document, he took it as a revolutionary force. Now, with this in mind, Minister Malcolm meets Reverend Cleage earlier on in the Nation of Islam. He meets him in the movement, in the Nation of Islam. And Albert Cleage is doing this thing. He's Shrine of the Black Madonnas. He's putting out the paper, right? He has a newspaper that he puts out. And this newspaper is getting the word out about independence. Is getting the word out about Shrine of the Black Madonna. All of these things. So he was right in line, right on the same sheet of music as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's very not just safe to say, but it's the truth. So when Minister Malcolm meet Albert Cleage, and he reads Albert Cleage's newspaper, he's very impressed. He hear Albert Cleage talking about separation. He's very, very impressed. When the trouble began to happen for Minister Malcolm in the Nation of Islam, and the federal government is trying to cause division between Minister Malcolm and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, initially, Albert Cleage is explaining to him to be careful, that the government has spies within the Nation of Islam. He is explained to Minister Malcolm the validity, of Louis X, who I say again, and you search this in history. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, many Muslims in the research said, especially Lucius Bey, who I met earlier on, he used to live in Atlanta. He's no longer with us now. Lucius Bey is no longer with us. But he explains that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not particularly happy with Louis Farrakhan. He didn't particularly like him, so to speak. He said he wasn't likable. This is coming from Lucius Bey. Lucius was a man that trained Minister Malcolm and was the education and trainer for ministers in the Nation of Islam, who was handpicked by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad to do so because he was very learned, very studious, and he was the standard for Muslims. Right? He was the go-to man, the true go-to man. Minister Malcolm may have been the standard as a leader, right, and the standard for the rank and file, but it was Lucius Bey who they went to. Lucius knew Albert Cleage, and Albert Cleage knew Lucius. And the same thing and training that Minister Malcolm received, Lucius was able to incorporate that training too as he built the United Church of Christ Shrine of the Black Madonna, because that's the entire name, right? And he fought for separation. He fought for separation. He didn't believe in integration, so he fought for separation. Anytime you find someone who will fight for separation as opposed to integration, you'll find someone who will defend the black community. Now, you have many leaders that have come, but very few that are willing to physically defend the black community. Because we could speak as powerful as we want, brothers and sisters. We can take on any form that we want. We can break down the scriptures to the point that it's digestible to a gnat. But if we're not willing to protect our investment in the black community, and what is that? We are the investment. You and I are the investment in the black community. If we're not willing to protect one another, then all of our knowledge, everything that we've learned, all of our teachings are in vain. So Albert Cleage is a example, copy, so to speak, a direct copy of what was happening in the Nation of Islam was happening in the Shrine of the Black Madonna. It's Cleage, through his illustrated news, Shrine of the Black Madonna, and the newspaper of the Shrine of the Black Madonna, who brings attention to King, who brings attention to Minister Malcolm X in Detroit. This is before Muhammad Speaks is even created. As a matter of fact, Minister Malcolm gets the idea of Muhammad Speak because at that time churches had newspapers that they could confer with, that they were express their businesses. If there were businesses inside of the church, then they could express these businesses. And so I want you to understand that this Cleage was what we were praying for at that time to have on the side of the Muslim nationalists. You needed Christian nationalists. I want you to understand that Martin Luther King was not a Christian nationalist. Martin Luther King was an integrationist. He didn't become a black Christian nationalist until 1965, when they were marching across the Selma, Alabama bridge. When they're marching across the bridge in Selma, then Martin King's tactics, you're looking at a different king. The tactics had changed. He writes a book called Community of Chaos in 1965. The tactics had changed, and he had to roll with the tactics. Now, I tell you, we learn something every day. We learn something every day. And I want you to understand that in our learning, that some things we learn can serve to bring us together. I want you to understand that. That through our humility, we can learn to come together. Through our trial and our tribulation, brothers and sisters, you and I can learn to come together. This is what we can do through our trials, through our tribulation. When we see something affecting the black community, even affecting the leadership, however much you like it or don't like it, it serves a place and time, right, for us to come together. There's a table set for us in the presence of God when we're going through adversities that will teach you and I, no matter what separation we have, no matter what problem we have between us, between you and I, it will teach us how to come together as individuals, right? As Christians, as Muslims, as black people in general, will teach us how to come together. We may have done something to offend one another. We may have done something to divide each other. We may even just don't like each other for whatever reason. But God has set a table for us in the presence, right, of our enemies for you and I to come together. And I've learned that in the past few days. I have to tell you that. It doesn't mean that I go back on anything I've said on the show, because I don't. It doesn't mean that I'm not keep asking the questions or relaying the show, because I am. But it says that today, that I'm going to work even more so to unite with the brothers that I have not been united with for some time. For the brothers that I haven't been moving forward with for some time. All of those that I can unite together with, where we will have a common cause and have a common dialogue to be able to do something for the black brothers and sisters in this nation that we're in, and on the plantation that we're in. And if we can come together with those that we're able to come together with, because some people are not going to allow you to come together. You won't be able to come together with some people. But what I'm saying is we'll leave it open, because God has already set the table for us in the presence of our enemies for you and I to come together. And brothers and sisters, you have to admit that the white man is the enemy, because he's the one that is shooting us down in the grocery stores. He's shooting us down in the churches, shooting us down on the playground, putting guns to children's head, just like Brian Cloninger did in Dallas, Texas, to young DJ Mayton. He's shooting you and I, shooting our children in the arms of their mothers. This is the truth. So the man, we can't deny that he's not an enemy. We can't even say that he's not a devil. We can't say it. But we can say that because he is the devil, it should give us reasons to come together. Since more than anyone else, he's attacking and killing you and I. And so, brothers and sisters, when this situation that existed, at one time it did exist, where black brothers and sisters, no matter what the holy day, no matter what the religion, they were all coming together. You found in that day and time, if you look, E.C. Morris of the National Baptist Convention and Elijah Poole, or Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's father, knew each other. They were from Georgia. This is a fact with the Baptist churches there. You'll find this out in your research. You'll find that when Elijah Poole leaves to become Elijah Muhammad in Detroit, that the Christian churches were very familiar with him, right, and his teachings, right, and they understood, right, his message, and it just all comes together when Master Fard Muhammad delivers a message to his wife, Sister Clara, in the 1930s, and Sister Clara comes and get him and said, listen, you've got to listen to this message. Because there were individuals on a Pan-African scope that are concerned about the salvation of the black man in America. And we have to know that. We have to know that. And so my desire, my prayer is this. My desire is to tell you tonight and to show you that not only did Minister Malcolm and Albert Cleage know each other, but Albert Cleage stood as a teacher to tell them to be aware of Wallace, Waradeen Muhammad, and Louis Farrakhan, because he knew that they were dealing with the devil. He already knew that they were set in to destroy the Nation of Islam under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I want to be clear, Malcolm X was never the goal. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the goal. If they could destroy the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they could usurp the black community. And this is why I tell you that the word had to go forth, because for a long time Dr. King was on the wrong track. But it's not until 1965 that Dr. King meets the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has a talk with him. After that, you see a different Dr. King, right? Because of the troubles that were going on around them, they saw the table that God had put in front of them, and they were able to come together. Isn't that right? And so, brothers and sisters, Albert Cleage began to warn Minister Malcolm when it got turbulent. He began to warn Minister Malcolm about what was going on. And as he warned Minister Malcolm about what was going on, you're talking about December 1964, February the 14th, 1965, Minister Malcolm is admitting on these occasions, right, that he's on his way back into the Nation of Islam. There was no secret at that point. There was no secret. So before he could do that, before he could even deliver the address, right, he is every time he makes a stop, he's saying that everything that he thought he knew concerning the nation was wrong, in the sense of the nation coming against him, right? There may have been people in the nation that were put in the nation to make it appear that way, but he wanted to be clear and have clear understanding that he knew at that point that it wasn't the nation pulling the strings. And I hope I'm being clear on that. But there were certain individuals that had been set there for his demise, and he had the names in his pocket. Now, Minister Malcolm, on the week leading up to his death, was getting all kinds of death threats. There were all kinds of attacks against his reputation, all of that. All these things were happening. And he would even have to jump out and dash to his house, jump out and dash to the store. Wherever he was going, he would have to dash for it, because these brothers were laying in wait to take him out. This was the mindset of the agent, the informant, the true provocateur, right? And the assassin. This was the mindset. The mindset of somebody like that is to attack. Brothers and sisters, you have to understand that. And there's no sanity in somebody who is constantly attacking someone and trying to raise themselves up. This is insanity, right? This is insanity, because as human beings, we have to know that we may disagree and we may have questions, but none of us are beyond reproach. Me, you, and no one. Me, you, and no one are beyond reproach. And so when Minister Malcolm, when they're preparing to kill him, Minister Louis Farrakhan is right there in the Newark Mosque. He's not in Mosque number 11 in Boston. He's in the Newark Mosque. And the men that went to kill Minister Malcolm from the CIA and FBI, who are financed by the CIA and FBI, who are subsidized by the CIA and FBI, right? They went from the Newark Mosque, went into Temple number 7, not Temple number 7, went into the Organization of Afro-American Unity there in the Teresa Hotel to kill Minister Malcolm. And so, and this is very important. This is very important. They did a dry run to do it. Now, with that being said, we're getting down to Dr. Khalid meeting Albert Cleage. He knew Minister Albert Cleage way back when he was in the nation. He knew him then. He didn't just meet him, but as far as working with him directly in the form of making a difference. Because I want you to understand something. Albert Cleage is still talking about separation. He's still talking about separation. Now look, listen to this. You already had, here's the month of February. The month of February. I give you the month of February because it was February and they call it Black History Month, but I also want you to search that, and you'll search to find this is true. It was February, right, in 1492 that they began to organize this charter for the North Atlantic Trade Organization, or the North Atlantic Trade Slave Organization, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Same thing. NATO. Same thing. Same thing. When they were selling you and I, 1492, they perfected it and they began to put these things in operation. In 1392, they were working on the operations, right? Because they learned from the Plutonic War, right, which lasted, and I'll explain to you what it was, which really lasted some 300 years. At least 300 years. Where the European would come in, fight little scrimmages in Africa, and they would snatch Africans and take them back. Each time, they would snatch them and take them back. That's correct, brother. In the Audubon Ballroom. Right? Way uptown. That's correct. And you have to understand that when they're coming in to snatch these Africans, they're doing it through scrimmages, because at that time, the His Coast, right? That was their term, their name. The His Coast, or the His Coast, or these cave dwellers, right? Unholy, heathenistic cave dwellers were coming in, attacking Africa, and taking the people in Africa. And we have to understand the habit of the white man. His habit has never changed. He needs you for survival. He needed you then, and he needs you now. And without you, he can't survive. Brothers and sisters, that's what I'm telling you. This is the key to all of it. Then the only way that he can survive is that you be subservient to him. Don't forget to thumbs up, like, and subscribe, brothers and sisters. Hopefully I can get to 400 today. It's my desire and prayer. Get to 400. But you have to understand that without you, he can't survive. And this is the reason why it is common knowledge to conscious folk, common knowledge, that if you want to survive, we've got to come out of slavery. We got to come out. Some people are saying, well, brother, we're out of slavery. We're not out of slavery, brothers and sisters. We just entered a new phase of slavery. Just a new phase. We're not out. We got a long way before we get out. But for the first time in history, we have a literal way of getting out. Right? That the times have matched the events, right, that you and I are about to embark upon. I say that because I already know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. It's going to start happening. So I'm just preparing you. Brothers and sisters will start moving to areas that are completely black, or that are majority black. You're going to see this. Brothers and sisters moving to certain places in Texas, Arkansas, Atlanta, Georgia, certain places in Alabama, like Cumberland, Mississippi. They have certain areas that are black there. They're going to pack it all in. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. They're going to start packing on in. New York. They're already in New York. Certain parts of Jersey, Philly, certain parts of D.C. And I mean maximizing. You're going to start seeing them maximize the population there, because they're going to start taking over these cities. And they're going to start moving in, right? The population of whites are dying out, so they're going to begin to start taking over and claiming positions and property and all of these things in America. It's unchangeable. There's no way around it. We can't even be turned around from the task that God has for you and I. We can't even turn around from the task, because God is putting these things in order. Dr. Khalid Muhammad saw the very same thing in the 1990s. He saw it. He talked about it in the temple. First time that he got a chance to talk about this takeover, he talked about it in the temple. He was talking about it. He didn't just start talking about it after he was out of the nation. He was talking about it in the nation. About taking over regimes, claiming the land, making it ours. Right? Brother looked at Brother Khalid and thought he was crazy. Man, this brother seemed extreme. He wasn't extreme, but he had been around other pastors and ministers as a young person. As he told us, they were saying the same thing. Not only in the Muslim temple, but also in the Christian church. You ready, sister? You coming before us? And so, what you and I have to understand today is that this time has come upon us, and it will continue to come upon us, and the opportunity will continue to be more clear for us to do this. It will continue to be more clear. We will continue to be more able to make this happen in this country. And so Cleage, seeing this power and talent, his move from the nation, and all of the other civil rights leaders that he had grabbed along the way, including Sister Betty, Miss Coretta Scott King, Joseph Lowry, Mr. Shuttlesworth, other black nationalists, music artists, Ice Cube, Professor Griff, who later turned on him, Chuck D, who was his man till the end. I mean, a lot of stuff. Ice-T, a lot of them. He started grabbing these brothers. They start sampling Dr. Khalid in their music. And Dr. Khalid is planning to make a move. He's building an army, and it's all clear to him. He knows what he's going to do. Wesley Snipes, around this time in the 90s, began to have, he had this training ground for martial arts and the trained soldiers. He gave Dr. Khalid Muhammad part of that training ground to be able to train Black Panthers. Train them in the military, train them as army. They could build whatever they wanted to build on there. Down from there, you had Malachi Z. York. You know, and you have to understand the whole spectrum of what was happening here. You had not just one leader talking about liberation. You had Yahweh ben Yahweh. You had the Nation of Islam. Yahweh ben Yahweh is with the Hebrew Israelites. You had Malachi Z. York. You had the black nationalist regime through the Black Panther Party with Dr. Khalid Muhammad at his height that had a massive amount of brothers and sisters that was in there. And you had so many other nationalistic movements. The Black Liberation Army, the Black Guerrilla Army, the Black Guerrilla Family, right? Brother Soul Dad, Brother George Jackson. You had them in the prisons, and you had them outside of the prison. You had revolutionary groups ready to break into prison and get them out. What do you hear today? You still hear people saying, release, free the political prisoners. What do we have today? We still have white people killers, which is making black people bold enough to stand up to do something about the pain that you and I are feeling today. This is what Dr. Khalid was feeling and seeing. This is what he was being led to. And Mr. Cleage, when he met him, he had a long talk with him. He always knew him, but then he decided to meet with him. And brothers and sisters, there's a difference. There's a very big difference when you decide to meet with somebody. There's a very big difference. You've known people your whole life. I know people that have been married that may know somebody, may know each other, but they have yet to meet each other. Along the way, if they stay on that path, they'll meet one another. Once they meet one another, then they can't help but to come together. They can't help but to come together. So I just want to let me read some of the comments. Brother Ital Lyman says, Psalm 35 and 8, let destruction come upon him at unawares. Let him meet that he had hid catch himself. Into the very destruction, let him fall. Our brother Bruce said, Reverend Cleage wrote books, Black Messiah, Black Christian Nationalism. That's true. That's very, very true. I have those books. I've read them. Pearl Cleage wrote the book, Mad at Miles back in 1990. That's right. She was married to Miles. She was married. She was, matter of fact, married to a guy that ran for mayor. He was a politician. And she was the organizer, but she didn't think, and this is Reverend Cleage's daughter. Pearl Cleage didn't think that the brother was strong enough because she was a strong sister, powerful nationalist. When Davis was married to Cicely Tyson and alleged to have hit her. This is a good knowledge. Thank you, Sister D. Brother Bruce said, good teach. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all for sticking here and knowing that I'm on track. And please let them know. Let me know when I'm on track. We got our brother Eidelman. We said, Brother Tal Eidelman said, teach. We got our brother Damon said Elijah didn't like Lewis, but still made him national representative till his departure. That he did give him approval, brother. I don't doubt that. He gave him approval. But as far as making him national representative, this still has yet to be seen. And that's one of the things that Minister Lucius was talking about. Minister Lucius Bay was saying that he gave him a post to keep. But he wasn't his choice for national representative. That choice had been killed. Minister Malcolm. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had understood who killed Minister Malcolm, who was responsible for it, the main two, Wallace Waradeen Muhammad and Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I say it in respect for his believers. But I say again, I think he was less than honorable. Even when Minister Malcolm was killed, he never showed any concern, love, or respect for Sister Betty and the children, never held them or anything like that. He continued to run the family down. He and his brother, who was also in the nation at that time. So this dude doesn't even know history, mixing pork just like Christian pastors do. Shaking my head. Well, brother, I'm sorry I don't meet your standards. Ital Ayman, I bear witness to what the brother is teaching. Agree to disagree, but the mission still continues. That's Brother Solid Omo. Greetings, brother. Greetings, Brother Damon. Let's see here. Brother Eidelman, Minister Lucius Bay lived in the Holy Apostles' home. That's correct. Before he even moved in and opened the door when Minister Malcolm first walked in. That's the truth. And this is important for people to know that there were loads of information around that we can draw from, and there's information around today. There is information around today where we can do the same thing, but we have to be humble enough to receive it. We have to be humble when it come out. Brother Bruce Karim says in the Audubon Ballroom, that is correct. Way uptown, right on Lenox Avenue. You have Bruce Karim, the excellent, H. Rap Brown, Dr. York, Dr. Khalid, all taken in that Georgia area around the same time. That's the truth, brother. Because there are more revolutionaries around now that are committed than we even know. We just haven't met them all. And God is opening the door for us to meet. This is a great time. The opportunity of what we're experiencing is opening the door for us all to get together. Brother David X said, you're really illiterate about the nation, but those who are not in, just looking from the outside. Thank you, brother. David X said, still waiting on what you found about my troubled life. What has your black journalist friend found out? Brother, again, we don't do this on the show. I put forth the information that needs to be put forth. We don't do that on this show, brother. So you won't get that from me, and you won't distract me from my mission. Brothers and sisters, when Albert Cleage come together, Sister D, pleasure to see you, sister. All praise be to Allah. Pleasure to see you. When Albert Cleage does this work, he has the same mind in him that Muhammad has, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that Minister Malcolm X had, right? I say has because he still lives through us today, right? Still lives through us today. And the same idea that Dr. Khalid Muhammad has. Same ideas. And when they shook hands, Now I want to go back to help you understand this. The government assassination of the true leaders of black nationalism, right, all happened in February, right? It was a marker, right, as a marker of dirty, dark humor from the government. Minister Malcolm X killed February 21st, 1965. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad killed by poison, cortisone, February the 23rd, I believe, 1965. But it was definitely February 1965. Albert Cleage, who had warned Minister Malcolm, who became a strong black nationalist figure after the nation for Christian, and during the rise of the Nation of Islam under Louis Farrakhan, Albert Cleage is still working powerful with the nation and building it up, both with Silas Muhammad's group and Louis Farrakhan's group. Still powerful. This Cleage, who warns Khalid Muhammad about the death trap. When James Best did a dry run on several of Khalid Muhammad formations, when he come in and his security and everything, James Best studied it to be able to make a hit on Dr. Khalid. It's in Riverside, California, where he finally organized to get him the very first time. It was a failed assassination. This James Best, the same James Best that was involved in the assassination of Minister Malcolm. He was in the nation. He was in the nation at that time. And James Shabazz will also verify that those that were flown from California all the way over to New York. So from the West Coast to the East Coast. And so after, you have to put it in sequence. You know, Elijah Muhammad they're using cortisone for his asthmatic bronchitis. The cortisone will add weight to your face, but it was poisonous to the system used in high doses. And not only that, but they were putting poison in it. This is common knowledge, and even Louis Farrakhan has admitted this, that they poisoned him. He admitted it. So, you got 65 of February of death, 75 in February of death. This Albert Cleage that you see is important to the movement in February of 2000. February of 2000, he's killed. In February of 2000, Albert Cleage is killed. February the 20th. And I want you to look at this. All of it happening around or close to the 20th. All in the same area. They had killed the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. February the 23rd, I believe, 1965. They killed Minister Malcolm. February the 21st, 1965. They killed Albert Cleage. February the 20th, 1965, when he was killed. February the 20th, 2000. They killed Albert Cleage. And then Khalid Muhammad was killed February the 18th. February the 18th. From the 17th, he had been poisoned. Right? They believe prior, from the time that he left Atlanta, it began there. But he lost consciousness on the 18th. And so he died on the 18th, February the 18th, 2001. And this is no coincidence, brother. And sisters, if we say, well, some of it might be an incident, that's one thing. But this is no incident. No incident at all. And here's the thing. When Albert Cleage dies, they don't give an explanation to his death. No explanation is given. They just said that he died. No explanation. They said he went to his area and he died. His daughter protests that he was in good health. She protests that he was in good health. Then there's some other statements that are made. But in the final analysis, he was visiting farm in Beulah Land. That's what he called it. Beulah Land Farms. Beulah Land Church Farms. And here this man, he's doing great. He's doing great, but he ends up dead. So when they take out Cleage, who warns Dr. Khalid, then after which Dr. Khalid, after 3 weeks after the Washington City paper has written the story on Malik Zulu Shabazz, the heir apparent of Dr. Khalid, because that's the way they wrote it up. And you can go back and find this paper. It was Mark Francis Cohen wrote the paper. And 3 weeks later, Dr. Khalid had been killed. And we knew then what was going on. And question had so many questions. Now, I said that to say this. We've been dealing with a type of storm, ruckus, right? Dust kicking for some time. And since we know that the government sent agents out, I'll say this, brothers and sisters, being transparent, it's very possible that the distortion was created. The distortion was created for us to look at one another. For us to look at one another. And not that requesting accountability is uncommon, but we must question the fact that we're looking at one another when we know that there's a bigger scope to all of this. That there's a bigger scope to everything that's happening, everything that we're doing. Even tonight, what you and I are doing now, there's a bigger scope to everything that's happening and everything that's going on. And we have to open our mind's eye, brothers and sisters, and see exactly what's going on. Beyond the distractions. And we have to love each other that much, brothers and sisters, to be able to see that and point it out. And question it. And question what we see and research to see if what we see is actually what we see or what we see is made to look like what we see. You understand? We have to question that. You and I have to question that. And so, brothers and sisters, it is getting, as the years go, and all you got to do is pay attention to this. All you got to do is pay attention, As the years go behind us, you see organizations coming out, and the government is sending these organizations out, and they get a little bit slicker. The formation is a little bit tighter, right? They get a little bit smarter, right? Because they already know what's going to happen. Don't you know this white man knows what's going to happen? He knows it. He already knows what's going to happen. He knows it. He knows it. But, and he knows the scriptures say it, right? Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? The scriptures say it. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad talks about it. Right? The Bible, the Holy Bible talks about it. Right? It said that this man who has killed us, who have maimed us, right, have desired to kill us and destroy us on every hand, right, shall be made to drink his own blood like water. That's the scripture. It says that it comes from his book. He didn't even know that he was copying the text to his own death. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? Right? And I believe it's the book of Exodus that says, he that stealeth a man and selleth that man shall surely be put to death. Isn't that right? That's what the scriptures say. Right? And we are evolving to the place where we are going to defend one another, defend ourselves, defend our brothers and sisters. You'll see this, brothers and sisters, that all the petty attitudes and actions, all the petty arguments are going to leave. They're going to dissipate. All of these things are going to leave and dissipate. And soon you'll see that brothers and sisters will begin to come together. And this is what they're trying to stop. And they've been killing the prophets. They've been literally killing the prophets to stop the salvation of God that is already within our grasp. right? When the children of Israel had come out of the Egypt, isn't that right? Because there arose a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph. That was the white man, right? As our sister D says, our people are too incredulous. This is why we are still right where we are. We should be and should have been unified. That's right, sister. That's right, because we've had distractions and we've got to learn to see through them. We've got to learn to push a little harder. Stop wasting time attacking one another, right? Don't waste time attacking one another, but get stronger, get tighter, and organize a real united black front of black Christian, black Muslim, black Hebrew Israelites, no matter what they are, no matter where they come from. If there's somebody who wants justice as black people, then get justice. Get justice. Somebody told me the other day, what if somebody, they asked me the other day, brothers and sisters, they said, what if somebody white want to help? They can help, but they need to get other white people. They need to get other white people, and they can help over with the white people, but they can't join our groups. Can't come in and join us, right? They can help us, right, from where they are, over there with the other whites, right? If they really mean business, then they'll go and take out the enemy for us, right? When they go and take out the enemy for us, if they say they really want to help, some of y'all missed that. But if they really want to help, right, then they can do it in other ways. You don't need to stand with black people to deal with the problem. You need to go and deal with the problem. John Brown, when he was going to fight other whites that were imprisoning blacks, when he was going on the concentration camps of slavery, which is the plantation, to take out the slave owner, he didn't have to come and join no black group. Why, he went by himself. In the Kansas massacre in Lawrence, Kansas, he went by himself. Wherever he went, when he went in Missouri, he went alone. Isn't that right? When he went to Harper's Ferry, Virginia, he didn't have to go with anybody, right? Harriet Tubman supplied him with a few soldiers that were ready to fight, but he was already ready to go if he had to go by himself. So that's why I say like Minister Malcolm said, that if any white person could join, it would be John Brown, but thank God he's not alive to join. Because if you see a good devil, as Dr. Khalid said, kill him before he turns bad. Because brothers and sisters, there's no such thing as a good devil. There's no such thing as good Jews, right? There's no such thing as a good white man. It just don't exist. It just don't exist. And so if you feel like he's good, right, then he'll always prove to you how bad he really is, right? Because we don't have any good white people. And see, the only thing about it is our brothers and sisters don't know it, right? Sister D knows, right? Some of the others on the show know. The pillars know. The pillars of this show, the people that come on, all the brothers and sisters on here know. Ain't no such thing as no good white man. That's almost like, I'm telling you a story about the bees again. You know I'm going to say it. You know I'm going to tell you the story about the bees. That there's these billion bees chasing one man, right? And I'm standing on the sidelines telling you about these bees. And I'm telling you, and I got a whole bee outfit on. I mean, from head to toe, I got a bee outfit on. I'm protected. You ain't got on nothing but a short pants and tank top, and you running down the street. And I tell you, say, hey, brother, don't worry about it, because on the inside of it, they say there's a million bees inside of that billion bees that don't have stinkers, right? Only a fool will stop trying to find those million bees without a stinger in the midst of a billion bees with stingers. Only a fool will stop, brothers and sisters. And so for that, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't take the chance. I can't say with a surety, even though I believe it, I can't say that there are no good white people, because I'm sure there are, but I just haven't found any yet. I just haven't found any yet. There are those that thought that they found them that didn't find them. So if they were disappointed, you know how I feel. You know how I feel. And so, brothers and sisters, we have to remember that. Like our sister said, Sister D said, the only way that we can win is through unity. The only way. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, sister. The only way that we can win is that we come together. And we'll have to start now, brothers and sisters. We have to start now planning to take these towns. We have to start now planning to take these towns. We have to start now. We have to plan today. Peace, Brother Ken Muhammad. Peace, brother. Glad to see you. We have to start today by organizing in areas where we know that black people are. If you got a majority, you're in a city where there are a majority of black people, go to those cities and start building up businesses there in those cities. You don't have to have a store, right? You don't have to go and rent a building, right? You don't have to do that. All you got to do is start a business in the front of your home. You can do that. You can open up a store in the front living room of your home. Yeah, if all your children are grown, just go change it out. If the children are not grown, just put them in the back bedroom and still run that store because it's going to take care of you. That's right, brothers and sisters. We have to be wise. We have to be wise for what we're doing. We've got to be wise. We've got to be wise, and we've got to start somewhere. And so once we're there, we can organize gun clubs. Isn't that right? We can organize gun clubs. We can organize community watch organizations right there in those places. And if we got protection in those places, we won't have to go out to any other place to try to find protection. We won't have to march all over America to try to find protection, but we'll have it right at home. The man will be able to protect his wife and his child at home. He'll be able to pack into the church. The most people you have in the area, they'll be able to attend many of the same religious institutions there. They'll be able to pack in there, and you'll have security there to handle any threats that come into those areas. And so, as our sister D is telling us, our people need to organize, galvanize, and strategize. That's true, sister. That's true. We've got to organize, galvanize, strategize, and I dare say mobilize. So, brothers and sisters, we come to the end of our show. I thank you very much for coming on. I look forward to us being here tomorrow again and being very positive. Don't forget, we do have the books and everything that are here. Do your best to support if you can. Brothers and sisters, remember, we're not begging. We have things we want to give you. It's got good knowledge in it. We take the time to write. We also have candy bars. Maybe some of you would like to buy sweet things, right? We can make cookies and candy and things of that nature. We can have all of those things to let you know. So we're still moving. We're still up. We're still encouraged to do what we can today, and we'll continue to be encouraged. I thought that the sister would get a chance to come before us. She wasn't able to, but I'm sure that she'll be able to come before us tomorrow. Certainly be able to come before us. So here's the cash app so that you're able to help us. And brothers and sisters, we come for knowledge. We come for education. We come to organize. We come to galvanize. We come to mobilize. We come to strategize, like our sister has told us. We don't have time to be bickering and fighting amongst one another. The white man is killing us, brothers and sisters. We have to understand that. We have to understand that the white man is killing us, and we need your support. If you go on the show last night, the brother did a better job than I could do of telling you the financial situation I'm in. He told you that, right? That all the institutions that we set up to be able to feed our black brothers and sisters, to be able to give them free mental health, to be able to give them clothing, to be able to, the children's breakfast program, we certainly have to do something about that, because I think that's just going to flounder. If you don't have what you need, then you can't give it to them. And a lot of them depend on it. And so we ask you to send what you can there. If you can't send that, send canned goods. Tell people that all the time. You can send it to that address that's out there. And for some of the areas, I'll give you a P.O. box. But certainly send, along with that, please send donations of money to handle things that we can't get. Certain supplies that we definitely need, such as buying water. When you support us, you've been able to buy water, you've been able to buy certain school equipment for the children that are not able to attend public schools. A lot of them don't have clothing and things of that nature. We have parents that are on drugs. And we're working to get the parents off the drugs. We're trying to organize, right? So that we'll be in a position to get them off of drugs. Get the alcohol and the whiskey out of their head and off their breath. So we can get them clothing and things like that. I'm going to send out PO box information for that too, because we do have an on-site for clothing and things of that nature. But we're trying to help. We're trying to help. We're trying to help. And I've always done that. I've always tried to help. My grandfather, Pastor Samuel Rogers, was a minister. And so I was raised up in the ministry as well. He attended with me to the National Baptist Convention, and also attended with me to the Muslim temples that were kind enough to allow me to speak. And when I joined there in Tunica, Mississippi, he was there too as well. And he gave a speech there. Unity, unity in brings strength. So in unity there's strength. He gave that lesson there. And I'm so glad that he knows and has the wisdom of what I finally learned today. In no uncommon terms that we have to come together. We got to come together, brothers and sisters. If we don't come together, then we won't be able to fulfill God's mission of taking care of our own people. We've got to take care of our people. That's our mission, to come together that we be able to do so, brothers and sisters. So my desire, my prayer is that we'll be able to do this, that you will support us. And if you know anyone else, that is willing to support us, please let them know. And our sister D says, organize, galvanize, strategize, mobilize our lesson for a lifetime. Also, she has a great idea. Thank you for this, sister. Please support the platform. These lessons are priceless. They certainly are. And I'll be donating on a monthly basis. Thank you, Sister D. And I ask you if you would donate on a monthly basis, no matter how small, it would at least help us to have some form of support for our program. We're not asking for ourselves only, but we're asking for those that we are helping and supporting. Because it indeed is expensive, brothers and sisters. And as you can see on Taharka Bay's show last night, that I've been very transparent with you, because you see what helping our people and running a program to be able to service the black community, what kind of trouble it can get you in. And I could be out of it if the government would give me what's rightfully mine. And I'm busy trying to help the people, and I can't fight the government and also fight its henchmen that are coming to attack me too, brothers and sisters. I can't do it. So I want you to understand that we're in a battle here. That the white man is killing us and destroying us on every hand, and we need your help. We need your help. I have, again, each month I sell 7 books. This month I have to sell 9 books because we didn't sell the 2 from last month. I am thankful that the sister has one person that's taking her class, and that would do something. But I definitely have to sell 9 books. Just tell somebody about our show and go to the top of the support page. You go to the very top. Oh, it's not on there. We need to make sure we get that on there so those that would like to support are able to support what we have going on, because we certainly need it. We certainly need all the support that we can get to be able to help our people, because we're trying to help our people. That's what we're trying to help. Beyond all the bickering and everything, we don't help our own selves, then we're doomed. And what do we look like talking about the white man if we can't come together to help and support our own people? So, brothers and sisters, I want to get this link up to you if I can find one, to be able to give you the link where you can indeed help us make a difference in the lives of the brothers and sisters that we help. So we're on a retreat. We won't allow anything to take us off track with what we have to do. So I'm pasting this in the section now, so that you'll be able to come through and help us the best way that you can. Brothers and sisters, we continue to thank you for all that you do. I'm so thankful for all that you do. Be able to help us on this movement, be able to help black people, be able to live with black people. And we need to pray for strength, that God is able to do do all that you can right through us to bring that change. Brothers and sisters, I appreciate you very much. And I say it to one, I say it to all. Thank you for coming. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.